So, it turns out Sega's been leaking a bit of info. Now, basically what's happened is they've accidentally revealed sales numbers for Sonic, the Like a Dragon, Persona franchises, and much more. Worth keeping in mind, I have not actually looked at the details of what information was leaked out necessarily, so this is very much going to be a blind reaction to seeing like how things are shaping up for Sega's franchises as a whole. So let's have a quick look. So the document has been removed by Sega Sammy, which is basically the big company, but of course Reset Era has archived the sales numbers in full. So let's have a look. So this is the most recent games that were released. So according to the document, Persona 5 Royal sold over 7 million units, Sonic Frontier sold some 4.5 million, and the recent Yakuza titles have been around 1.66 and 2.86 respectively. So Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is the most recent Yakuza game, came out at 1.66 million copies. Like a Dragon, Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, just under 1 million copies at 960,000 copies. Persona 3 Reload sitting at 2.07 million copies. Sonic Superstars, 2.43 million copies. Sonic Frontiers, 4.57 million. And then we look at stuff like Total War Warhammer 3, 2.34 million. Shin Megami Tensei 5, including Vengeance. So this was the re-release of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Which is not the Switch version, 2.11 million. Yakuza Like a Dragon, which came out back in 2020, 2.86 million. Persona 5 Royal, including the remaster version, 7.25 million, so that's slightly inflated numbers. So, Team Sonic Racing at 3.5 million, and Total War 3 Kingdoms, 3.21 million. Now, it seems clear that the Like a Dragon franchise is basically, I think, the weakest franchise under their belt in terms of sales, and Persona seems to be relatively steady, while Sonic isn't a clear, it seems to be like a clear front runner here with 2.43, 4.57 and 3.5 million copies. The thing about Persona 5 Royal, keeping in mind, is that Persona 5 Royal came out in 2016, and so no, that was Persona 5. Persona 5 Royal would have been that was a PS4 Xbox One release that was then remastered to Xbox Series S and X, and it only came out on PS4, then came out on other platforms later on. So I feel like that might be a little bit inflated just because of the remastered numbers. Shin Megami Tensei 5 also does the exact same thing, which is basically it includes the numbers of the original, even though I just said it was only Vengeance. No, sorry, I said that completely wrong. It's including Vengeance, so 2.11. So in terms of like Persona numbers, they look quite strong, but basically Persona and Sonic are the two front runners of the Sega selling franchises, and then Like a Dragon is tailing behind Total War, it seems like. But Total War is a very different franchise from everything that we kind of see here, and I suppose in a way you could say each franchise is kind of completely different audiences. You can look at the Sonic franchise and the Sonic fandom that can split out into multiple franchises that people could be interested in, but Total War Warhammer, like the Total War games, are so different to everything else here that I doubt anyone who plays Total War plays Sonic games actively, or Yakuza games actively, or Persona games actively. I feel like Persona is the closest thing that I can see that a Total War player might play, but it doesn't really, I guess, shake up in that sense. So yeah, it's crazy to think where the numbers fall and basically where each of these franchises are, because for me, I love the Like a Dragon franchise. I love the Persona franchise. I love the Sonic franchise. The only franchise here that I don't jive with as much is Total War. So this is, I feel like, a basically a new story made specifically for me to talk about, because Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth probably has done the best in terms of Metacritic out of all of these games, and it sold probably the second worst But that being said, it only came out in 2024. Like a Dragon, the Man Who Erased His Name came out in 2023. Persona 3 Reload also came out in 2024, a month after. So it's been on the market, no, not even a month, maybe like a couple of weeks. So Persona 3 has been on the market less than Infinite Wealth, but has sold more for sure. Sonic Superstars, I feel like that kind of built up steam over time. Sonic Frontiers was actually pitched to be one of the next mainline Sonic game, which is why its numbers are pretty high. And Team Sonic Racing has been around for quite some time, so I'm not surprised that has relatively high numbers. The Total War Warhammer 3, I think that might have been 2022 or something along those lines. And Total War 3 Kingdoms, that must have been around 2020. It's got to be, right? Because Total War has been through quite a lot, especially with Creative Assembly, releasing some very poorly released titles in the Total War franchise, like Total War Pharaoh, for example. So it's just crazy to see what's going on here. But Sega was Metacritic's #1 rated publisher of last year. Wait, what? Okay, the Japanese company released several critically acclaimed games, including Metaphor ReFantasia, Shin Megami 5 Tensei 5 Vengeance, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Earlier this weekend, Sega officially announced plans to open a flagship store called Sega Store Tokyo. No details were shared. That is actually quite interesting. What do we have here? So, in terms of games that were released, because I know Metaphor and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth both were easily like over 90 on the Metacritic score. Whoa, damn, okay. Crazy. Yeah, so obviously, like, these are very highly rated games from the critical perspective for sure. That's insane to think about. But I suppose this is more of a case of like, hey, what did you guys, I guess, think about the numbers and how they ultimately fell? Are you guys kind of surprised by the fact that Like a Dragon is doing the worst out of all the franchises, despite the fact that a new Like a Dragon game is basically released annually at this point? I think the year that Man Who Erased His Name came out, we also got Ishin as well in 2023. We get Infinite Wealth in 2024, and this year in 2025 we got Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. So like, I feel like these are constantly good enough sellers that they're able to pump out a new game each year and still have it be of relatively good quality every single time it comes out, it feels like. But with that being said, also the fact that, like, I don't know if you guys are probably as surprised that Persona and Sonic are the two front runners in terms of franchises that Sega holds closest to its chest. I think that Sega buying Atlas is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to Sega, basically, period. I think some might actually say, because no matter how bad Sonic games get, there is an audience that is going to buy and play those games. I am among that audience that will buy those games. Hell, I make videos called Sonic News, talking about Sonic games, Sonic TV, movies, whatever have you. Whatever comes up that I want to talk about Sonic-wise, like I have a video series called Sonic News. So it is just interesting to see that, like, these sorts of things are happening and that the numbers are shifting the way that they are. But I am interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. Let me know in the comments below. Did you guys think that your bingo card would fall as guesses similar to what we're seeing here in terms of sales numbers? Why not? Be interested to know what you guys have to say about this. But with all that being said, however, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. And with all of that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.